We have talked so many times about that literally being my nightmare. Like, I cannot think of a more callous and painful way to die than being burned alive. That is nightmare fuel.
It's Tuesday, and you're listening to Murder Unscripted.
My name's Ed, and for the past 2 decades, I've been producing true crime content for some of your favorite networks like Hulu, Oxygen, and of course, Investigation Discovery.
And I'm Melissa, Ed's bestie and walking, talking true crime database.
We've combined my behind-the-scenes insight with Melissa's morbid curiosity to bring you a podcast that immerses you in the true crime genre like never before.
We highlight victims' cases and bring you exclusive insight from the people who lived through them, with a touch of humor to lighten even the darkest stories.
This is Murder Unscripted.
Dun dun dun!
What is up, crime crew? Welcome to episode 93 of Murder Unscripted, the most authentic podcast on the interwebs today. Also, part of the Darkcast Network, illuminating the best in indie podcasting. I'm your host, Ed Hydock, here with the Green Goblin, or what did we call you last night at Hibachi? The Green something?
I remember.
Melissa Spivey.
I like the Green Goblin. I'll take it.
Well, Melissa, it is a new month, and I know this is your favorite part, so get your whoop whoops out of the way.
This is my favorite part. New month, new block, new theme, whoop whoop.
That's a lame whoop whoop, I'll tell you that.
Whoop.
God, that was lame.
You're right. It wasn't my best.
Well, you are correct. So for March of 2026, we are going with a theme we used last year because I like it. It's called Spring Cleaning. And this is our attempt to clean out our Murder Unscripted email box, because we do actually get a decent amount of listener requests. And every so often we go through and we pick out some cases that we could potentially use for an upcoming theme or maybe even a Patreon episode. And I do want to say that a particular listener sent in an entire block, like 3 block suggestions with cases to go with that block, which we do plan on incorporating. Yes. So I don't want to, we're going to hold that a little bit because that way we can do an entire theme.
Cool.
But for this month, we have compiled a few cases that you guys have recommended.
Yes, we do love getting your suggestions. Sometimes it's so interesting because I'm like, how have I never heard of this?
Right.
But because of the nature of our show, like, you know, how we pick a different theme each month, we don't always get to use as many of the suggestions as we would like to. Obviously, if we cover a case, we need it to fit the theme we're working with that month. But the spring cleaning is kind of our workaround for that.
Yeah, so we're super excited for this month because in addition to 3 awesome cases picked by you guys, we have a super cool guest lined up, which have any of our guests not been super cool?
That's very true. They've all been really cool. And yeah, you definitely won't be disappointed. Our guest is in the true crime field, but not in a position that most people think of, like at least not at the beginning of a true crime. Right. And just thinking about it, how is that not a reality show yet? Like what we're going to talk about it. But anyway.
I was thinking the same thing. I think maybe it's a little too over the top. I think there's some YouTube channels that do it. I haven't seen any on TV, but on the internet, yes.
Well, guys, this will make sense in a couple weeks. Anyway, just get excited because I promise you that the majority of you guys in listener land will enjoy this interview.
Yeah, I agree. And while we're on the subject of guests, guys, if you are in the true crime field or know of someone who works in a field related to the things that we talk about, hit us up. We would love to bring those. We absolutely love bringing listeners on as guests.
Yeah, it is really fun because then we kind of get to know them on a more personal level.
Right.
So, Ed, do we have any other housekeeping tonight?
Just the usual. Rate, review, subscribe. If you guys could review us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you listen, we're trying to push the podcast side of things less than the YouTube right now. So anything you can do there to give us a little boost would be huge, and we would be so appreciative. And if you want to get a little more involved with Melissa and myself personally, like on a little bit deeper level, please consider joining Patreon. Not only do you get the kind of cool behind the scenes stuff, you also get some cool stickers, you get some swag, you get bonus content, depending on the tier you choose, and you also get to support Courthouse Dogs, the organization that trains facility dogs to sit with victims of trauma during their most trying times. So good things happen when you join Patreon for all around.
I'd join just for that. They're way cooler than we are.
Completely agree. They got dogs.
Exactly. but Patreon is really fun. And I happen to know that we have one very, very, very special Patreonian, is what I call them, to shout out today. And that is Cassandra C.
Cassandra.
Cassandra is not only a Patreonian, but a very good friend of Murder Unscripted. And she's like an OG MU fan. And we just absolutely adore her. So Cassandra, girl, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. Seriously. All right. Well, I think we should get right into it. So, Melissa, I know you have a case for us today.
Yes. And this case is actually kind of local to us. So we've mentioned before on the show that we're in southeastern Pennsylvania, not super far from like Valley Forge and King of Prussia. And our case today takes place in a small town called Robesonia, Pennsylvania, which when I Googled it, it was like a little less than an hour from where we are.
Yeah, it's not, Robesonia's not far.
I had never heard of it, but I also don't drive more than like to your house and back, so.
That's true. That's a fact.
Well, this case was recommended to us by one of our listeners, Amy F. And Amy actually grew up in the Robesonia area. And although she had moved out of the area prior to this crime taking place in 2014, she is very familiar with the area. And I don't think she knew anyone connected, but like she knew of them. So thank you, Amy F., for suggesting this case. And like I said, even though it happened so close to us and in the grand scheme of things, not all that long ago, I had never heard of it. I watched a couple shows on this case. One was, okay, I'm not sure if it's hashtag text me when you get home or just text me when you get home, but it's on Lifetime.
I don't know.
And the other show is called The Unusual Suspects. And in addition to the shows, I used a whole bunch of articles from newspapers.com. Well, right before we started recording tonight, I was on Reddit just like looking to see if there's any last minute updates or anything random about the case that I could find. And I don't use that as a source, but I like to find basic information and then go back and see if I can corroborate it. But what I came across was a posting from someone who claims to be very close to this case. And they on Reddit made the claim that the TV shows got a lot wrong about the case. They did not specify exactly what, just that the shows were unreliable. So I'm not saying like we know that TV does often embellish, but of all the news articles I read, really nothing differed from the television shows. There were little small things, but nothing that I'm even bringing up. So that being said, if you are familiar with this case and you hear something that I'm about to say that you believe is incorrect, please reach out to us.
The one thing the TV shows do is they definitely embellish. That's a good word. We twist timelines a lot. Like if something makes a more compelling story to tell the information in a different order, we will do that often. But as far as the facts of the case go, it's surprising to hear that because I think I've mentioned before on this show that all the networks I've worked for make you annotate what you say. So it has to come from somewhere before you put it on air. And if stuff's differing, then that's, I don't know, concerning, I guess.
Well, I think that sometimes people take things more personally than maybe they should, and they think that fact and their opinion are often the same. So when someone says a different opinion, maybe they think that's fact.
That's true.
I think it can be tricky, but on with the case. It is New Year's Eve 2013, and people all across the globe are getting ready to eat, drink, dance, toast, party, all of the usual New Year's Eve things. On the night of December 31st, 2013, Lana Breyer was trying to relax and enjoy her New Year's Eve party. She and several friends had gathered at Lana's house to drink, dance, and celebrate. They were so ready to ring in 2014 on a positive note. But unfortunately, no matter how hard she tried, Lana couldn't quite settle into the joy of the night. She had this nagging, uneasy feeling in the pit of her stomach, and it's a feeling that she just couldn't shake it. Even though she was surrounded by friends, somebody really important was missing. And that was her best friend, 23-year-old Ashley Kline. And it was Ashley's absence that was really what was keeping Lana from fully enjoying the evening. From what I gathered, it seems like Lana and Ashley were for real besties through thick and thin. They had been friends since childhood, and it seems like their bond had only grown stronger as they, moved into adulthood.
Those childhood friendships, the ones that do last, that bond is unbreakable. You're family at that point.
It's true. And I mean, that's really what was making Ashley's absence just so unsettling. Like, she should have been there. In fact, she was basically co-hosting the party. The two girls had planned everything together, and they had both been so excited to spend the holiday side by side. Ashley was even supposed to come over early to help Lana set up, but she never showed. And Ashley was not a flaky friend. If she said she was going to be somewhere, she was there. But as the hours ticked by, Lana texted, she called over and over, but was getting no response. And when her guests began trickling in and the party was, kind of officially started, Lana went into the room. She forced a smile, but that uneasy feeling just got stronger through the night. Like, where on earth was Ashley?
That's scary.
It really is. So throughout the whole party, Lana and several other friends continued trying to reach Ashley. Each attempt, though, was just met with silence. And when the clock finally struck midnight, as everyone toasted to a happy and healthy 2014, Ashley's absence hung heavy in the room.
Wow.
By the next morning, when Lana and their friend group had still not heard a word from Ashley, Lana made the decision to call Michael Kline, and that's Ashley's dad.
Okay.
So Michael answers the phone, and he's immediately confused and concerned when Lana asked, is Ashley with you? And Michael's like, no, she's not here. I thought she was with you. And we find out that Michael hadn't seen Ashley since the night of December 30th. Shortly after 10 p.m. that night, Ashley had left the home she shared with her dad and siblings, and she had just said she was going to meet a friend. And Michael just kind of thought, like, that ambiguity led to Michael thinking that she was just heading over to Lana's to start decorating for the New Year's Eve bash.
Right.
So when Ashley wasn't home the next day, which was December 31st, Michael again assumed she was with Lana. And remember, Ashley's 23. She's an adult. Yes, she lived with her dad, but she had the freedom to come and go as she pleased. So it didn't alarm Michael when he hadn't seen her on New Year's Eve day.
Right.
And I do want to note that Ashley had a really, really close relationship with her dad. There were no secrets between them, and it just seems like their relationship was positive enough that she told him pretty much everything.
When you describe a relationship like that, I mean, she seems like the kind of kid that wouldn't be sneaking around behind her dad's back or like doing some shady stuff, And
it's for those reasons that, her disappearance and the lack of communication on her part, especially with her dad, was so concerning. Michael's trying not to panic, but after making some more phone calls to other friends of Ashley's, Michael made what I just have to assume is one of the most difficult phone calls that a parent could ever have to make. He called the local police department to report Ashley missing. Police responded, and not long after the call, the police are at the Kline household, and they're speaking with Michael, and they're just trying to get as much information as possible about Ashley. So before we go any further into the case, let me tell you about this wonderful young lady. Ashley Lynn Kline was born on May 17, 1990, to parents Michael and Robin Kline. She had two brothers and a sister, Joshua and David, and then Amber. And Ashley was a happy, bubbly, and just inquisitive little kid who always had a smile on her face. Unfortunately, when Ashley was a child, she suffered from lead poisoning, and this caused damage to her developing brain. So the one television program described it as, quote, diminished cognitive functioning, end quote. And in an article from the Intelligencer journal Lancaster New Era, Ashley's cousin Gianna Weather stated about Ashley, quote, the 23-year-old had the behavioral level of a 15-year-old, end quote.
Wow.
But that never stopped Ashley from accomplishing any of her goals. It seems like her positivity, her bubbliness, and just her excitement for life is really what Ashley was known for. And her family would say that you really had to know Ashley to understand the unique way she experienced and navigated the world.
Wow, I wonder how she got lead poisoning.
It was lead paint. I'm not sure if the family moved into a home and they didn't know about it, but
yeah,
I know up until a certain point, I don't believe you had to disclose that in like
No,
a
that's
home
relatively
selling.
recent.
Yeah, so it was lead-based paint that led to this.
Wow, that's sad.
So Ashley and her family had, endured more than their fair share of difficulties, but when Ashley was in her early teens, tragedy struck again. According to that Unusual Suspects TV show, Ashley's mother, Robin, she was prescribed some sort of medication and she suffered a severe adverse reaction. And this reaction left this vibrant, beautiful young mother of 4 children in a vegetative state.
My God.
From that point on, Robin required round-the-clock care in a nursing facility. And this was a devastating reality that permanently altered the course of Ashley's family.
I would say so.
Could you imagine your mom just going to the pharmacy, wherever, for some simple medications, and suddenly, like, your amazing young mother is just like a shell of her former self?
Talk about it, just something that upends your entire life.
Yes, I can't even begin to fathom like the pain, frustration, and just heartache that this had to have caused to this poor family.
Sure.
And
wow.
Ashley's father, Michael, he's on the shows I watched. This man just seems so kind and warm-hearted. And, despite the difficulties that Ashley and her family faced, they seem to remain a very close, loving, and supportive family. But, of course, Ashley took everything with her mother really hard, and loved ones said that Ashley's megawatt smile was still there, but it just never seemed to be quite the same.
She probably had to start doing that thing that young adults have to do and put on the happy face, even though deep inside there's a lot going on, a lot of bad stuff.
And you have to be, somewhat proud of her for still being able to put that smile on, especially at that
Absolutely.
age. Even after everything she had been through, she deep down remained the same loving, sweet soul, and she grew into a very kind-hearted and thoughtful young woman. After she graduated high school, she began earning money babysitting. And she had always loved being around children, and she had this natural ability to connect with them.
Some people just have that gift, it's like an ability to get on a child's level that makes them feel just like seen and understood. Some people have it, some people don't. It sounds like she did.
She definitely had that gift. I certainly do not. I'm very awkward around children.
That's
I'm
not true. You're good with my kids.
No, I never know. Your kids are teenagers. One's an adult and the other one's basically 13 going on 30.
That's true.
But with little kids, I never know what to say. It's like toys. Am I right?
You just be a kid again. Be like, hey, cool stickers.
I think I was a miserable, cynical child. It's very much the same.
You're kidding.
Now.
You don't say.
But Ashley was not at all like that. She was just a natural with kids, and she genuinely enjoyed spending time with them. And she had a way of just nurturing their creativity and curiosity. It's not entirely clear whether she planned to pursue childcare professionally. I'm not sure if she was going to work in a daycare or if she planned on becoming maybe a nanny or continuing with in-home babysitting. But what is clear at the end of the day, she just found so much joy in caring for kids.
You wonder if because of her condition, if she would have been allowed to care for children. I don't know what the future would have held, but does that hold you back professionally? I don't know.
I don't think with Ashley it did. I think it was very hard to tell that maybe, she experienced the world differently than others.
Okay. Got it.
So back to that cold January 1st, 2014, the day that Michael Kline reports his daughter missing. Now, there are conflicting reports about how the police treated the situation. Let's just say that. On the television shows, the police are portrayed as kind of springing into action and immediately taking the disappearance seriously. However, from other articles I read, it seems like they may have kind of given Michael the runaround for a little bit. That she's an adult, she can do what she wants, she'll be back, she's a grown-up. And Michael did explain to them about the lasting effects of the lead poisoning, which, as we have stated, it impacted her cognitive development, and he stressed that this just made her more vulnerable than the average 23-year-old.
Right. And I would worry extra. If I know she's an adult, but I think if I knew my daughter had issues on top of it and she were missing, I would be terrified beyond belief. It's just something about not being able to protect your daughter who you know is extra vulnerable.
And I think you always see your kids as little vulnerable kids regardless. So I imagine, yeah, you're right. This made this probably a million times stronger.
Wow, awful.
And I do want to note that when this case is all said and done, and I mean that from a legal standpoint, I know these cases are never closed, but Ashley's loved ones began pushing for swifter response times, especially with like if someone with disabilities goes missing, and also harsher penalties towards perpetrators who do target people who may be more vulnerable.
As they should. That should be like a multiplier.
And we can talk about the family's petition and everything a little bit more at the end. Really, they wanted something called Ashley's Alert. So
cool. Okay.
So police are talking with Michael, and he's explaining about the whole New Year's Eve party and how he believed that the night of December 30th, Ashley had been going over to her friend Lana's house to start the party prep. And Lana lived only 4 blocks from the Kline home, so it was totally normal for Ashley to just walk over. Now, immediately, police are wondering if Ashley could have possibly been abducted while walking to Lana's house. Like, yes, of course, it's just a 4-block walk, but as our audience and fellow true crime listeners know, the distance does not matter. It can be a matter of feet that someone is abducted off the street.
Absolutely.
However, it's at this point that Ashley's brother tells them that he didn't think his sister did go to Lana's house the night when she left. When her brother had asked where she was going, she just kind of brushed him off, saying that she was going to see a friend. And he just kind of felt that if Ashley was planning to head to Lana's, she would have specifically said, "Oh, I'm going for the New Year's Eve party," or something like that.
Right.
Luckily, Ashley's brother was able to describe to police what she had been wearing when she left the house that night. She had on a hooded sweatshirt, a jacket, these PJ pants, and her beloved pink Ugg boots.
Aw.
So, as in any investigation, police want to know who are the most important people in Ashley's circle, like other than her immediate family. So Michael and her siblings explain that Ashley had a long-term boyfriend, she had many friends, and as police will eventually find out, she even had a pen pal. So stick a pin in that. We will come back to it.
Okay.
So now that police have spoken to the family, they want to talk to her boyfriend of 4 years, Wesley Devonshire. And by the way, in
British?
one of the shows, I know, doesn't he sound fancy? Devonshire. Yeah. Devonshire. It's probably Devonshire. Maybe I should say it like that.
Worcestershire, sure.
Worcestershire. In one of the shows, they call him Wade Donahue, but I'm pretty sure that's the alias, and his real name is Wesley. So I'm going with Wesley. I can guarantee
that's the alias.
You think? I feel like Wesley Devonshire sounds more alias-like than Wade Donahue.
No. Wade Donahue. If it sounds like a porn name, it's probably an alias we made up. And I'm not saying we in a general sense of true crime producers.
Noted. So Ashley and Wesley had been dating for several years, and it seems like they were pretty serious. One of the last things Ashley posted on social media was this beautiful Christmas gift that Wesley had given her just a few days before. And it was this open, heart-shaped silver necklace and had like little stones around it. And then also on the chain was a solid silver heart that had Ashley and Wesley engraved on it. It was really cute. And she just adored it. Yes. Yeah. Police immediately go to speak with Wesley, and he's beside himself with worry. He tells them how he had been calling her and texting her, and he had not heard a word. And in fact, the last communication they had was on the night of December 30th.
Oh, wow.
So when police ask about the last time Wesley had physically seen Ashley, he tells them that was on December 28th. And I do want to just note that it was not out of the ordinary for Ashley and Wesley to go a few days without physically seeing each other, and that was due to Wesley's work schedule. But they always remained in contact, via text or phone call.
So he would be one of the first people to know if she wasn't somewhere she was supposed to be.
Yes. Wesley was employed at a local pizza place, and due to the long shifts he worked, he and Ashley really only got to see each other on the weekends. I believe he worked Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So there's no immediate red flags from Wesley, so the police kind of move on. They speak to Lana, who explains how Ashley had never showed up to the New Year's Eve party. And again, while talking to her, there's really no red flags that stand out. So the next person on their list is 19-year-old Ryan Shainauer. So Ryan's mother was Ashley's mother's best friend.
Okay.
So like Ashley and Ryan had grown up together, and it seems like it was one of those situations where the moms are so close that the kids were close enough to almost feel like siblings or cousins, like not just family friends.
Right. The people you drop in on for dinner and it's no questions asked. Have a seat. There's a plate waiting for you.
Like me at your house.
You just walk in. I'm like, there's food on the stove, Melissa. Just help yourself.
Well, and I know Brenda loves doing wash, so I've been tempted to bring my laundry home. I don't know that she'd notice. I could just throw it in.
Just drop it in there. It'll get folded and it'll just turn up in a basket somewhere.
Stop it. I'm doing that. I'll be right over. So police go and speak with Ryan, and just like Wesley and Lana, he is extremely concerned. He tells them that he had been trying to reach Ashley since New Year's Eve day, and he hadn't been able to reach her at all. So similar to the lack of communication that Ashley had kind of given with her family and also Wesley and Lana, this is really strange to Ryan as he and Ashley kept in regular communication. So nothing is really standing out to investigators until they ask Ryan when was the last time he physically saw Ashley. And he says that the last time he saw her was on the night of December 30th.
Oh, man, cue the crow.
Right? Well, Ryan tells them that he had picked Ashley up just a few minutes after 10 p.m. that night.
Oh, so that's where she was going when she left.
Yes, but, well, hold on. So Ryan goes on to say that after he picked her up, they went back to his house, which was about 20 minutes from the Kline household, and they watched a movie that supposedly Ashley had really, really wanted to see.
Okay.
But Ryan also says that during the entirety of the movie, Ashley was really preoccupied and just spent the whole time texting someone. He wasn't sure who it was, but he maintains that Ashley was just very distracted, like, by this whole conversation she's having. And he asked her, he's like, who is so important that, like, you don't want to watch this movie you've been wanting to see so badly?
She's probably texting her boyfriend.
Right. And she just kind of shrugged Ryan off and was like, oh, it's just a friend. So after just about an hour, Ryan claims that Ashley asked him to take her home and, he obliges. However, he tells police that Ashley wanted him to drop her off about a block from her house. And when he asked her why, she said she was going to be meeting with a friend. And Ryan's like,
weird.
What? Yeah. He's like, you're being like really weird. Who is a secret friend? But just like with the mysterious text message recipient, Ashley was super vague and wouldn't give Ryan any more information. So even though he didn't feel great about it, he really didn't push it. And, he complied with her request to drop her off like a block or so from her house. He says she got out of the car and that was that. He watched as she walked down an alleyway between these two buildings and just kind of disappeared into the darkness. So police asked about his next movements, and Ryan says that he ended up going to hang out with friends after he dropped Ashley off. And he was at this friend's house for a few hours and then headed home in the early morning hours of December 31st. But on his way home, his car had broken down and he had to call a tow truck. Okay. And he tells police that through this entire time, like while he's hanging with friends and while he's driving home and even while waiting for the tow truck, he and Ashley are still texting with one another. So by this point in the night or, early morning, his mind is on his car and getting home, like not on wherever Ashley had gone.
Of course.
So because they were texting. So he's like, I assume she was safe and sound.
That she was fine. Right.
Right. So while Ryan is talking to the officers, he offers up his cell phone and he shows them the messages that he and Ashley have been sending. So they read through them and it's like all just trivial stuff, nothing indicating that Ashley was in any sort of danger or peril.
Right. Nothing weird.
Exactly. And these messages also didn't give any sort of clue where she had been or who she had been with. Well, just like with Wesley and Lana, Ryan doesn't give off any red flags. So the officers, detectives, they thank Ryan for his time and they move on. Now, meanwhile, Ashley's family is not just sitting around waiting for something to happen. They are out on the streets in full force. They had missing flyers with Ashley's picture and information made up, and they just wallpapered them everywhere they could because they wanted the entire area to know that their sweet, bubbly, and beautiful Ashley was missing. And it does seem like the community really came out for Ashley, which is always so nice to see. She was known around town for her kindness and her compassion.
That kind of like tender-hearted way that she sees the world, I imagine it left her family kind of worried that perhaps that kindness was the thing that put her in a dangerous situation, which we've seen before.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I already mentioned to you about Ashley's cognitive functions. And again, this did not get in her way of living a very full life, but it did lead to her being a bit more naive than most people her age.
Sure.
And what is so damn sad and just shitty is that her naivety, it really came from such an innocent and beautiful place. Like, she just saw the best in people. She trusted people. She believed that people were good. And it just seems from what I read about her that she loved with her whole heart. And she gave that love and trust away freely, which is so admirable. But as we know, unfortunately, not everyone deserved Ashley's trust.
Yeah, and I imagine there was a huge worry that somebody took advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand where they're coming from. And that's so frustrating and sad, though, to think that someone being a good person is what puts them at risk.
How many victims have we seen, though, that was the case because they helped somebody or they stopped on a roadside? I mean, it's just, we see it all the time. I mean, it's only the good, you know?
I know. Billy Joel was right.
Yes, he was.
So this next part I'm going to tell you differs a little bit from TV show to news article. This was really the only thing that I found that seemed kind of a bigger deal. So the TV shows refer to this next person I'm going to tell you about as a jogger, like just some lady out for her morning jog. Okay. But then the news articles, some of them reported that this was a young boy out sledding. So stick with me on this.
That's weird.
Isn't it? I feel like there's a big difference, but okay. Because if you're sledding...
One has a sled in the winter, yeah.
Yeah, right? I don't know. Yeah. Well, on Thursday, January 2nd, 2014, either a jogger or a little boy with a sled were in Adamstown, Pennsylvania, which is about 12 miles from where Ashley lives. And as this person is jogging and or sledding, they come across a few personal belongings. And the belongings are a little bit scattered, but they're still close together. There was a purse, an empty cell phone case, a black Phillies hat, and a pink Ugg boot.
Oh, man, a pink Ugg boot. Yeah, I think we know what that indicates.
Yeah, and I think the pink Ugg boots are probably not as common as regular colors, too.
Right.
So either the jogger or I'm assuming this sledding boy's mom, someone called police to report the items. And I don't know if police physically showed the items to Ashley's family or if they just kind of described what they found. But either way, her family says that these items are similar to the boots and the purse that they know belong to Ashley. But they don't recognize the black Phillies hat. Like, that is not something that anyone knew Ashley of owning. So that's kind of weird.
So maybe it wasn't her Ugg boot then. Maybe it was just a random coincidence. We've seen coincidences too.
That's very true. Yeah, the Phillies hat kind of threw me.
Yeah, interesting.
And while this was never specifically stated anywhere, it did seem like all of the items had the same kind of wear and tear. And what I mean by that is, like, it wasn't like the hat or the purse looked like they had been sitting out in the elements for an extended period of time.
Okay.
Got it. Like one wasn't like beat up and worn and torn and, you know, rain stained and all that. They were all just kind of the same.
Got it.
So it kind of made it seem like these items were all left there or lost there together. They didn't just randomly things didn't get thrown or blown around. Like it was like they were put there almost.
Right. Yeah. Placed like a stage scene almost. And also, what's with the hat? Like, is this a coincidence or does it like have something to do with her disappearance?
Right. I have to imagine that they saw everything and then get to the hat and they were like, one of these things is not like the other.
And that just adds to the mystery.
Yeah. Well, police began searching the area where the belongings were found, and this area was either on or around the grounds of a manufacturing plant called the Bowman Hat Company.
Okay.
And then across the street is this water treatment facility that's across from the Bowman Hat Company. So police are searching this water treatment plant, which includes those really big water retention tanks, I think that they're called.
They are. Yep,
Okay.
I know what you mean.
Okay, I can picture it, but I'm like, I don't know what they're called. So they're just kind of looking around the tanks, and they spot a sock on the ground in front of the middle tank.
No.
And again, they're able to show it, I guess, to Michael, and he says that it does look like a sock that is said to belong to Ashley.
Okay. Again, nothing positive, though. I mean, we're not finding her yet. So, I mean, I guess there's always a little bit of hope, but it's not looking good.
When I was watching the TV show, I feel like they got to the sock and my stomach started to drop. So I just have to imagine that theirs did as well.
I'm sure.
And, they're thinking, oh my God, is Ashley in one of these deep, dark water tanks?
That's the first thing I would think of.
Yes. So they begin draining the tank, which the sock had been found closest to. And, as they're mucking around in there, they find a bunch of random debris, but along this debris is a Tinkerbell keychain. So investigators bag this keychain as potential evidence, and they go to show it to Mike Kline, who's at work. And they just want to see if he recognizes it. And this whole time, it seems like Michael had been trying to stay very positive, just like you just were. And like when you said that, I was like, oh, I feel like this is how Michael felt, just hanging on to that last bit of hope.
Like maybe it's not her sock, and like the Phillies hat still, like what is that? Maybe it's not.
Right.
Well, and I feel like having the fact that she had a disability too, that just adds to the overall sadness of the case because you know how vulnerable she was.
Yeah, this is a really, really tough case. And it gets tougher because Mike was able to confirm that the Tinkerbell keychain did in fact belong to Ashley.
Damn. Like, think about what he just went through. Like that, his daughter's been missing for over a week now, and he's been holding on to every shred of hope, telling him that there's like maybe an explanation, maybe something will present itself and she will just turn up. And then investigators walk into his workplace, like not even a private setting, I will add, and show him this Tinkerbell keychain. Like that is such a, I guess, particular kind of devastation, because the cruelest part of this whole thing right now is the hope that he was hanging on to. I don't know. I think I would like to know right away rather than go through something like he went through.
Yeah, I don't want to say I feel bad for one victim's family more than another, but I always think to me, the ones who break my heart the most are the people who still don't know.
Right.
Like their child, their mother, their whatever is missing. And it's like, did they go away? Are they living a perfect life and they're really happy? Or did they get amnesia and not know where they are? Or did something horrible happen?
I don't know how you sleep. I don't know how you eat. I don't know how you function with that hanging over you.
And I think the worst part is when life goes back to normal for everyone else and it can't for you.
It just can't.
It never will. But I think also people get like, okay, get over it. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point.
How can you? A huge piece of your life is gone.
Well, now they have this keychain, and that along with the purse, the Ugg boot, and the other belongings that they had found nearby, this seems to have really be the thing that it kicked police into high gear. So police begin these big searches, and they bring in canine officers, they have police helicopters, and this is a dense forest, so it's a tough area to search, and visibility can be, tough through all the heavy foliage.
Right. Finding someone in that mess is so hard. You need special shoes. You need special vehicles. You need, like you said, helicopters, dogs, just people who can get under brush, under leaves, under trees. I mean, it's endless. The hiding spots for something like that is endless.
I always think of David Reed's case, which we covered back in August. I mean, we were there in like 95-degree weather and it was hell. Imagine that same situation in -3-degree weather with snow on the ground. Like
trying to maneuver up that hill and with a body. I mean, absolutely.
So there isn't a ton of coverage on what happens for the next 8 or 9 days. I do know that her family was out there each and every day and the community was out there. There just isn't a ton about like what police were doing, which, they have to keep things quiet. But on January 12th, 2014. Hikers are out enjoying the day. They're exploring this Middle Creek Wildlife Management Area, and this is like a 6,000 acre wildlife preserve, and it's kind of at the Lancaster-Lebanon County line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's managed by the PA Game Commission, and I've never been there, but it sounds beautiful.
I haven't been either. I've driven past it, and it looks beautiful from the roads. I have, yep.
Well, it's this protected area for birds and ducks and forest creatures, and I learned that it also plays host to a spring migration area for these certain species of geese and swans, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, it's got like some wetlands. It's got like this man-made lake. There's a ton of trails, I know, and just miles to hike.
Yes, I saw that. It's definitely a haven for like outdoorsy nature people. Like it sounds,
right.
And I don't even really like that stuff, and I would want to go here just to see it.
Just go sit and read a book in the woods, you know?
Exactly. Take the dogs for a walk.
Yeah.
And just for reference, according to the Unusual Suspects show, this specific area I'm about to tell you about, it was roughly 16 miles from where Ashley's belongings and that Phillies hat had been found, which was in Adamstown.
Okay, so we're a good bit away.
Yes. And again, it's January 12th, and these hikers they're just out exploring the land when they notice that just a few feet off the trail, it looks to be the remains of a fire. And they're like, well, that's kind of strange.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And they inspected a little bit further, and they realized that this wasn't some little campfire. This was a crime scene. And there was a body off the path that had clearly been set on fire.
That is horrific. Just horrific.
They're not able to ID it right away. Like, they couldn't ID the body by looking at it. The clothing had mostly been burnt off, and there was a heavy fire-damaged area specifically to the pelvic region. They weren't, at the time, even able to tell if this was a man or a woman. So
yeah.
They're inspecting the scene, and pretty soon they find something that leaves little doubt to the identity of their victim. They found a piece of the pink Ugg boot.
Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that someone tried to make Ashley disappear entirely. And then for a fragment of this little girl's pink boot, I know she's not little, she's an adult, but she's someone's little girl. Like, for that to be what identifies her, total gut punch. Like, she carried that boot all the way from where she was taken to where she ended up. And it outlasted everything that whoever did this was trying to burn away. Heartbreaking as it gets.
So while this piece was damaged, it was intact enough at least to be able to see the color and some of the tread pattern. And that matched the boot that had been found back on January 2nd, which we know belonged to Ashley. Also, while they're at this crime scene, they were able to see that her body had been dragged to where it was found.
Oh, okay. So like a secondary location.
Mm-hmm. So the body's taken to the medical examiner, and oh my God, her poor dad. So they didn't originally tell him like how bad things were, but in one of the TV shows he's interviewed and talks about how they asked for her dental records, and it was like he immediately was like, oh my God, this is really bad. Like, she's not just
I'm not just gonna have to go ID a body.
Right.
This is gonna be bad. Wow.
Well, shortly thereafter, the charred remains found in the wildlife area was formally identified as that of 23-year-old Ashley Kline. So while examining Ashley's body, they are able to tell that in addition to being set on fire, Ashley had been beaten and stabbed at least 5 times in the back. They also believe that Ashley had been sexually assaulted because remember I had mentioned that the burning seemed to be most significant in the pelvic region?
Yeah, so he's trying to cover up a sexual assault. Jesus.
Exactly. And the fire had completely destroyed like all the evidence in regard to DNA and fingerprints.
Yeah.
And because I haven't ruined your day quite enough, there was soot found in Ashley's lungs.
Oh, so she was alive. That we have talked so many times about that literally being my nightmare. Like, I cannot think of a more callous and painful way to die than being burned alive. That is nightmare fuel. How can you burn a human being alive?
How do you do that to a human, an animal, like anything that's living?
Anything.
Like anything.
Anything.
Her
Jesus.
aunt is on one of the TV shows, and how she was able to get up there and talk about this, like, what an incredible woman. She's talking about how when they heard what had happened, they were just absolutely convinced that this had to have been a random attack. She's like, to know Ashley was to love Ashley. Like,
Yeah, like who would do this to Ashley?
right. Like, her family could not begin to fathom how, like, anyone who had spoken more than a word to Ashley could have ever done such an evil and despicable thing to such a beautiful soul.
This is awful, this story.
I know, I don't feel like I prepared you enough.
No, I'll say.
Well, meanwhile, the police are looking at all of this a lot differently than the family. They felt that this level of cruel brutality had to have been personal. So the family's like, it couldn't have been anyone she knew. And the police are like, it was someone she knew. And we hear this a lot in these cases. It's the overkill of the act.
Usually when we see burned bodies, it's after the fact. It's they do it to
Yes.
cover up the crime they
True.
committed. Very few cases are when you are burned alive. That is, I just can't speak enough about how evil that is.
So police now have the how this happened, like, you know, how the murder happened. But next they had to figure out when this murder happened. And remember, we're now at January 12th, and Ashley had last been seen on December 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a substantial amount of time there to try to pinpoint an exact time of murder. But they do believe Ashley was killed shortly after she disappeared. So, like, either back on the night of December 30th or maybe early on the 31st.
Okay.
And now this is when police start to look back through their notes, and they see that the last person who can confirm seeing Ashley was Ryan Schoenauer. So when they hung out that night of December 30th, before speaking with him any further, they start looking into Ryan. Like, they decide to dig deeper than they had at the beginning. They look into his background, and they look back at his retelling of what happened that night. And just a quick recap of what he had told them. He said he picked Ashley up. He dropped her off a block from her home. They had hung out for like an hour, remember? And then he says he went to a friend's house for a few hours and then attempted to drive home, but his car broke down. So I think he called his mom actually to arrange for a tow truck to come.
Right.
So police are like, all right, that's easy enough to alibi. So they call his mama, they call his friends, and they even call the tow truck company and the driver, and everything matches up. And Ryan doesn't have any skeletons in his closet that they can find, like no criminal background at all. So again, they kind of check him off and move on. So we have one big person left.
Yeah, the boyfriend.
I love it when you pay attention. Shocks me every time.
I'm on it.
So they go back to speak with Wesley. That's Ashley's boyfriend of 4 years. And his story was that he hadn't seen Ashley since the 28th. So police are like, all right, well, we know that you didn't see her the night of December 30th, but what did you do that night? Basically wanting his alibi.
Right.
Wesley tells him that every Monday night he works at a pizza place. Police are like, oh, okay, so you were at work that night. And he's like, well, no. Actually, no, not that Monday night. So, of course, police's ears perk up and they're like, all right, well, if you didn't go to work, what were you doing? Wesley tells him that he just didn't want to go that night. He didn't feel like going.
Suspicious.
Yeah. He ended up staying home, and his brother had stopped over in the afternoon, and the two guys had played video games, and then his brother left. And I guess Wesley must live alone because there wasn't anyone to corroborate his story of being home between the hours of 10 p.m. on Monday, December 30th, until noon the following day on Tuesday the 31st when he arrived at work.
So what is that, 14 hours?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good look.
Yeah, no alibi at all. Like,
yeah.
But when police talk to Michael, Ashley's dad, he kind of comes to Wesley's defense, and he doesn't think that Wesley could hurt his daughter.
But just because he thinks that doesn't mean he couldn't. People hide in plain sight.
Good point. And it's then that Ashley's brother comes forward with some wild information. Apparently, on New Year's Eve day, so the 31st, Wesley had stopped over to the Kline home, and Ashley wasn't home, which we know that. But Wesley didn't want to talk to, like, he wasn't there to see Ashley at the moment. He wanted to look at her computer. And I am pulling this information from both of the television shows that I watched, which I mentioned at the beginning. It seems like Ashley's brother was not completely comfortable with Wesley getting on his sister's computer, but, you know, he had also known Wesley for 4 years, so I understand why maybe he didn't push it. Right.
Yeah.
So police are like, okay, well, what did he want to do on her computer? It turns out that Wesley wanted to log into some of Ashley's social media accounts. Apparently, he went into these accounts and began changing her passwords.
What? That is so shady. Why?
Yeah.
Probably trying to make posts to make people think she was alive at certain times, maybe?
Maybe. So police are like, well, that's interesting. And they go back to Wesley and they're like, what do you want to tell us about Ashley's social media account passwords? So according to the Unusual Suspects show, Wesley was apparently really upset that New Year's Eve day. Because remember, Ashley hadn't been responding to any of his communication. So Wesley was worried and then he was hurt. And I think that all these feelings began to turn into some jealousy. What he did was not right. Like, to me, that's some deal breaker behavior.
It really is.
However, I can say that I think everyone can think back to a time where they allowed their jealousy to get the better of them. Not going this far, but like, I've done dumb shit when I'm jealous.
I mean, love makes you do such stupid things.
Yes.
You get so attached to somebody, you turn into somebody who's not yourself.
Yes, exactly. So Wesley goes on to say that he just wanted to see what was on Ashley's computer, and it turns out he had found some conversations with men who he was not familiar with.
Oh.
And I don't know what the messages said, but apparently Wesley decided to lock Ashley out of her social media accounts, which is most definitely some unacceptable, deranged, borderline psychotic behavior.
It's teetering.
But does that make him a killer? Spoiler alert, it does not.
Really?
Yeah, it's not surprising. I know, these shows had me hooked.
I thought it was going to be him.
I know. Well, as it turns out, Wesley even admits that none of Ashley's online conversations were inappropriate, like at all with these other men. He was just so overcome with that green-eyed monster. Wesley admits what he did was wrong, and police do feel that he's being very genuine, and they let him go. But now, this kind of opens up a whole new angle, and police begin looking through Ashley's social media and online accounts. She had a whole lot of friends online, and I think that was a really big avenue that she used to meet people.
Okay.
So they see that one of the people that she had had regular conversations with, and I believe this was through Facebook Messenger, is a man named Bracy Jennings. When police asked Michael about this guy, and they asked the whole fam for information about Bracy, the family's completely in the dark. Like, they had never heard of this person.
Nobody they knew of, yeah.
No. So this leads her dad, Michael, to start looking through some of Ashley's stuff in her room, and he comes across a bunch of handwritten letters that are all signed by this Bracy Jennings guy.
Really? What'd they say?
I'm getting there. Hold, please. Michael, of course, starts reading the letters as any parent would, and the content of these letters is shocking, to say the least. This Bracy dude, he's writing about how he's wildly and madly in love with Ashley, and he's like pouring his heart out, but these aren't like cute love letters. They get to what is, I believe, an obsessive point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in these letters, he's saying he would kill for her, or he would kill anyone who tries to keep them apart.
Wow.
Not the kind of love notes that are like, do you like me? Circle yes or no. These are like, these are crazy. But wait, it gets worse. As if things weren't bad enough, Michael looks at the return address on the envelopes, and you just have to believe this poor man had the wind knocked straight out of him. The return address was Columbia County Prison.
What? So she was talking to an inmate?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And given her, I would assume a lot of it had to do with her vulnerability. She was being taken advantage of and she was love struck.
Well, hold on. We'll get there.
Okay.
So This prison is located in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, which is about 65 miles from where Ashley lived. So Michael calls the police to tell them about these letters, and they immediately start looking into this Bracy dude. And it turns out that this loser had been in and out of jail for dumb shit for several years. Theft, burglary, receiving stolen property, and some sort of statutory sexual assault charge.
You're kidding me. How on earth did Ashley get connected with this dude? That's what I want to know.
Okay. So Ashley and her family are very active in their church, which is awesome. Like they really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to very much try and reserve judgment, but the church had set up some sort of prison pen pal program. We know that Ashley is a kind and caring human. So of course she got involved with this program, and it was through that she met this Bracy Jenner character.
I get what they're trying to do, but sometimes it's best just to let evil live where evil lives and just let it be.
Yeah.
Mm.
And police are looking back at the online conversations with Bracy, and they say that their last conversation was on December 30th, which is the day that she went missing. So these red flags are flying high.
I just can't get over the fact that a church-run pen pal program connected a 23-year-old girl with the cognitive ability of someone way younger to a man with a criminal history who is actively incarcerated. If that isn't the most catastrophic oversight that exists, I don't know what is. Whoever ran that program had a duty to the people that they were enrolling, and Ashley was not equipped by any means to recognize what obsessive behavior looked like, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't know what that even is. So this is not on her. This is on the people that put her in this position.
Yeah, I don't think that it was the best move to assign her to him. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't do a female inmate.
Yeah.
Or I questioned that choice as well. And we don't know the ins and outs of the program, but yes, I did.
Right.
I was shocked by that.
And also, how is he Facebook chatting in jail?
He had just been released not long before she went missing.
Oh, God.
More red flags.
Yeah.
So police go and talk to him, and he's still in the Bloomsburg area, which apparently is 2 hours-ish from where Ashley lives. So police ask him about their relationship, and he basically blows them off. He's very nonchalant, she's just a chick I've been writing to. He had never met her, never visited her. Yeah, she helped me get through the lonely days in prison, but there's not really a connection. And police are like, you don't have a connection to someone you professed your undying love, like some sort of maniac?
Yeah, something's, you're hiding something here. You're
Yeah,
leaving a big piece out.
It's weird. But he says it's no big deal. So they ask him for his whereabouts on December 30th, and he claims he was hanging out with a friend. Police are like, okay, cool, give us the friend's name and phone number. We want to track him down. But he claims he doesn't know how to get in touch with this friend, and, well, sorry, you can't talk to him. I don't know.
This makes me laugh every time. I love watching these criminals squirm when they are asked questions they have no idea how they're going to answer.
They're so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, police are like, seems legit. But at the same time, they don't really have anything on him. So for the moment, they're back at square one. It seems like suspects are coming out of the woodwork, but nothing is sticking. And I'm already running long, but there's actually another guy they talk about on the shows who is looked at. And he's this guy who goes to the church, and he has a crush on Ashley. And he's actually a sex offending pervert who had some sort of charge about fondling a 13-year-old. So
how are all these people just running amok?
I don't know. So we have no shortage of suspects, obviously. But
are any of them guilty, though?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So police kind of decide to start over. And this time, they focus heavily on the crime scene. I should have mentioned earlier that the crime scene had a heavy odor of petroleum or gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
So police begin canvassing the area around the crime scene, and they start visiting every gas and service center, asking for their surveillance footage from that night, December 30th. They visit a ton of places, and they come away with a ton of footage. So they begin the arduous task and they watch hours and hours of footage, paying close attention, especially to anyone filling up gas cans.
Right.
So finally, on one of the random videos at one of these random gas stations, it's about 9:30 p.m. on December 30th. And they see this young guy filling up a gas can. And like, again, several people had filled up gas cans. That wasn't like super out of the ordinary.
Especially if it's January and the people are going to be running snow blowers and stuff.
That's a very, because at first I was like, I feel like, did that many people run out of gas? But you're right. I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what ends up standing out here, the guy in the footage, while filling the gas can, he takes off his jacket, flips it inside out, and puts it back on.
Like on
and
camera?
It was like, yeah. And like the outside of the jacket was black or another dark color. The footage was black and white. But then he flips it inside out and the inside is like a light color, maybe even white. It's so weird because they play a clip of the footage on the Unusual Suspects show. We could try to get it for our YouTube audience, but it's like, what? And even police are like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, I'll say. I've never seen that.
So random. So they check in with the gas station and they find out that this guy had purchased $10 worth of gas in a gas can. So the forensic team is able to enhance the video. And in addition to the weird inside out jacket thing, guess what else this guy is wearing?
What?
A black Phillies hat.
Shut up. So that's the Phillies hat. This is just so messed up because he was already thinking about being seen, whoever, like in real time premeditation. Mm-hmm. Like you don't, there's no reason you would flip your jacket out because you're cold. Like there's no benefit to doing that. You do it because you're trying to change your appearance, but to do it on camera, how stupid you look. Like it just doesn't make sense. And then you're found wearing the hat, the same hat that was found scattered with Amy's belongings 12 days earlier. Like this is the kind of evidence that prosecutors drool at the mouth over because it's behavioral, not to mention consciousness of guilt. Like that jacket flip is somebody who knows exactly what they're doing and is already trying to get one step ahead of police and the investigator.
1000% agreed. Like this is all just being like, it's screaming premeditation.
Exactly. And that's huge when this goes to trial.
Exactly. So police now need to work to identify this guy. And as it turns out, this isn't hard. He's very well known to police. We have some criminal battery charges. We have some trespassing charges. We have some drug charges. It's just a whole damn laundry list of dumb shit. Mm-hmm. So who is this guy? He is 20-year-old Adam Morningstar Lynch.
I'm sorry, Morningstar?
Yes.
Like the breakfast sausage?
I didn't even think about that, but yeah. And normally, I mean, breakfast meat is what's on my mind, but not in this case.
That's where my brain went.
Well, yes, his middle name is Morningstar. And while that sounds peaceful and serene, he is a violent piece of shit who at the ripe old age of 20 or 21 had spent a fair share of time in jail.
I'm not surprised because this crime that you described that was committed, this is not somebody's first rodeo.
So police drag Adam into the station where he denies even knowing Ashley, let alone killing her. And that's when they pull out the surveillance footage. And magically, he remembers who Ashley is.
Oh, Ashley. I remember her.
Well, this is when he tells police, I didn't kill Ashley, but I know who did.
The blame game starts.
Oh my God, so much finger pointing in this episode. Adam continues and says the person who raped and killed Ashley and set her on fire was Ryan Shanauer.
Shut up. The guy who they just kind of brushed off.
Yeah, the guy who had said he just dropped her off. It was her friend.
Yeah. Oh my God. Some friend.
Yeah, right? And like Adam claims that Ryan came to him after the rape, murder, and fire and confessed what he did. And then he asked Ryan for advice on covering up his crime.
Really?
Like Ryan is the Mr. Miyagi of covering up a crime scene.
I think he's the Mr. Miyagi of bullshit, if you're asking me. I think they're both in on it.
Oh, you're getting warmer. So at this point, police don't know what to think because Adam's saying he didn't do it, but he's the one who bought the gas. And there's video footage, so honey, you're not getting out of that.
Yeah.
But of course, they want to talk to Ryan. So police pay Ryan another visit and they tell him exactly what his friend Adam said. And Ryan's like, I had nothing to do with it. He killed her. So now police are like really unsure of what to think. They know they're both into this somehow, but they don't know how far they're both into it.
Right.
But think back at the beginning of this story because they have something in their reach that is pretty important. Ryan's car was still at the mechanic.
Oh, yeah, because it was towed.
Yes, the night that Ashley, yes. So right off the bat, when police get to the car, they can see like footprints on the windows or like shoe prints, like maybe somebody was trying to kick them out during a struggle. When they actually get into the car, they find 2 empty knife sheaths, and we know Ashley was stabbed. And I haven't mentioned this, but murder weapons had not been found. Like that was something that they were having difficulty with as well because they didn't have a murder weapon.
You would have said if they were.
Yeah. Well, also in the car, they find a necklace.
Oh my God, was it the heart necklace? Oh,
yeah,
shut up.
The Wesley
That's
Loves
so
Ashley
freaking
necklace.
sad. Oh my God. That is just, I hate to use heartbreaking, but that's what it is. Jesus Christ.
It is. Can you just imagine finding that necklace? Like, come on.
The betrayal. This poor girl.
So, police now confront both Adam and Ryan, and they're such white trash. These white trash ass clowns are still pointing the finger at one another. So the next person they speak to is Adam's girlfriend, and this is a young woman named Erica, and Erica is finally ready to spill the tea.
Good.
Yes. I want to put it out there for what it's worth. In the TV show, they said that she had not come forward prior because she was afraid for her own safety.
Which sounds like she had every reason to be.
Understandable, right. Well, apparently Ryan had been talking for months about wanting to rape Ashley. And I don't think he was necessarily putting it on billboards, but he had said it multiple occasions to Adam, and Erica overheard it. So according to the TV shows, it seems that over the years, Ryan had begun to experience romantic feelings towards Ashley. And I'm not sure if these feelings were ever expressed to her verbally from him, and if she wasn't interested. But from everything I read and watched, it kind of seems like this was a secret obsession. And then 4 years earlier, when Ashley began dating Wesley and, their relationship got more serious, Ryan just got more angry and jealous, and it became toxic and just all-consuming. Mm-hmm. And in my own opinion, I think that Ryan, wait until you see him, knowing that he was a disgusting, gluttonous, small-weenied little pussball, knew that he didn't stand a chance with someone as kind and loving as Ashley.
Yeah, it sounded like she was way too good for him.
Oh my God, the league that she was in over him, it is it's not even comparable. This anger, jealousy, and just resentment, it festered and festered. It got to the point where Ryan believed that Ashley should have been his. And again, this is all police's speculation. I will tell you now that these assholes never come out and say why. But I feel that he's sharing all these feelings with Adam, who we already know is an evil, violent monster from his charges.
Yes.
And I'm sure misery loves company. I'm sure Adam is encouraging this toxicity and just making it spread like this cancer.
Guarantee it.
So, according to Erica, the two began devising a plan for revenge. So let's review this. Ryan wants revenge on a woman who did nothing but befriend him. He wants to punish a vibrant and beautiful young woman who did nothing more than be in love with someone who wasn't him.
Someone else, right.
His fragile little ego could not handle any of this, and apparently she deserved to pay with her life. And with that, the plan to murder Ashley was born. According to Adam and Erica, Ryan chose to carry out this plan on the night of December 30th. This was wildly premeditated. So that night, Ryan began texting Ashley, like bombarding her with texts, asking her to hang out. And she finally agrees, and that's when Ryan went and picked her up. So Ashley gets outside to the car, and she's surprised to see Adam Lynch. When Ryan had been texting her to hang out, like he hadn't mentioned somebody else would be there.
Right.
And it is not clear to me if Adam and Ashley did know each other or if this was just like kind of some random dude. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the next couple moments is ultimately only known for sure by 3 people, Ashley, Ryan, and Adam. But police believe that sometime after 11 p.m., Ashley began getting uncomfortable. They're in this car and they're just driving around, and she's kind of like, what are we doing? Are we going to do something? Like, if not,
what's happening?
Yeah, can I go home? Well, we know that Ryan and Adam had plans. So they're in Ryan's car, and according to that unusual suspect show, Adam was driving and he was taking them to that wildlife preserve.
Mm-hmm.
And he found a dark and desolate place to park, and this is when Ryan attempted to rape Ashley. When she told him no, police believe he began beating her and went on to viciously rape her. As she cried, begged, and pleaded for her life, these 2 monsters began stabbing her.
I just can't.
Well, then they start dragging her through the forest to the spot where her body was ultimately found. And it was there that they placed her, still alive, on the ground and poured gasoline on Ashley's body and set her on fire.
If
and
she was hanging on, and we know she was because there was soot in her lungs, I just can't. What an agonizing ordeal, and what a way to die. I can imagine there's no worse fear that can go through the human mind than that.
And to be with your friend.
Your supposed friends, people you trust. It's just, I wasn't expecting this story to be some of the most evil people I've ever heard of.
The only way I can sleep tonight is that we can hope that she was unconscious and she didn't suffer any more than she had.
Yeah. Jesus.
The boys then left her body on fire and drove away, throwing the evidence or dumping the evidence as they went. And in their haste to get rid of everything, these idiots threw out Adam's Phillies hat. And while they believed they had done a good job, they weren't aware that Ashley's necklace had fallen off in the car.
Right.
And this whole time, Ryan had Ashley's cell phone and was texting himself from her phone.
Create
like she's alive and
off.
well. Yes.
Right.
And he also went to that other friend's house and he planned all that again to set up his alibi.
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure where Adam was at this point. I don't know if he went to that friend's house with him or if he went home, but whatever.
Yeah.
After the friend's house, Ryan decides to head home, still texting Ashley the whole time and having himself text her
responding.
back. Yes.
Exactly.
That's when his car breaks down and the tow truck comes.
Wow. His heart was probably dropping at that point.
Uh-huh. Good.
Good. Exactly right.
On Wednesday, January 15th, 2014, 3 days after they found her body, both Adam Lynch and Ryan Schoenauer were arrested and charged with the murder of 23-year-old Ashley Kline. They were thankfully held without bail, and the following day, Thursday, January 16th, both men were arraigned and formally charged with homicide, arson, abuse of a corpse, kidnapping, and related counts in Ashley Kline's death.
Good. Pile them on.
Oh, we do, thankfully.
Good.
Well, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania was like, you are literally the worst. You deserve to die.
Absolutely.
So they put them up for the death penalty. But like most men who take control like this and think they're so big and powerful, these little bitches were too afraid of that. So they pled down.
They should light them on fire.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
I would flick the match.
Ryan Matthew Schoenauer made a deal to plead guilty to first-degree murder plus arson, kidnapping, abuse of a corpse, and the conspiracy charges that went along with all of it. The Commonwealth agreed not to seek the death penalty. And also with that, one of the conspiracy to commit arson charges was dropped.
Mm-hmm.
On December 8th, 2014. I will take this as my birthday gift that year. The judge handed down the big one. Life in prison without parole.
Good.
LWAP.
I wish I could deliver that to you every birthday, some form of justice.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Like, I would never ask for anything again. Ryan also got additional consecutive sentences for the other crimes and ordered to pay $7,796.15 in restitution along with court costs. And just a reminder, consecutive is when the sentences are stacked on top of each other versus concurrent, which means the sentences run at the same time.
Still not enough. There's no amount of charges you can put on this list that will be enough to do justice for what they did to somebody else.
There's not enough years in prison.
Right. I wanted this to be one of those sentences that are just so asinine and ridiculous, like 400 years in prison. That's what I wanted to see.
Those are my favorite. Well, in regard to Adam Lynch, who I believe was 21 at the time of the sentencing, he too pled guilty to first-degree murder, along with the other charges, kidnapping, arson, abuse of a corpse, and conspiracy offenses. For the first-degree murder conviction, Lynch was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, LWAP. And again, just like Ryan, he received additional consecutive sentences for the other charges, which just added more, like, decades.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan did try to appeal in 2014, but the court declined and said, "You're stupid, suck it."
Oh.
Actual
it said that in a legal doc?
Yes.
I'm going to need to see that one. Can you source that one, please?
And
it better not be melissaspivey.gov.
It'll be like Microsoft Word, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
official.
Exactly. It's written in crayon on a napkin.
I think the biggest question in this case is the why. Like, we got the when and we got the how, but the why is so wild to me. And like, I didn't know Ashley, you didn't know Ashley, but I think that we can gather she was a good person.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, and I mean, she's a strong, smart young woman who loved with her entire heart, and she always believed the good in everyone. So why did this happen? And like, I wish that at the end of this episode we had answers. I know her family wishes they had answers. And when I say that, I mean that there could never be a good answer for murder, especially this murder.
But you want to know why. I would think as a parent, you would want to know why. That's got to eat at them. I know they're behind bars, but that's all I would want is the truth. And
unfortunately, there isn't that in this case, at least not a truth that either Ryan or Adam have ever given. And again, no answer would make sense, but they barely shrugged their shoulders when they were asked why. Yeah. I did see a few reports where Ashley's dad, Michael, was interviewed, and he does believe that Ryan wanted more than a friendship with Ashley, that he wanted a romantic relationship with her, and that it was not a mutual feeling. And we know that there are way too many men and women out there who cannot handle the word no. And I really wanted to take this episode to remind everyone out there that no is a full sentence. Like,
that's it. That should be enough. Right. And if the problem, though, is that you don't know who you're dealing with. So no to you and no to 95% of normal people is fine. But then you just get these dudes who just, I think you said it earlier, a little fragile male ego. And that's all it is at the end of the day. Wow. It's like, you're not going to, you see it on the roadways. You try to pass them. Oh, you're not passing me. Like, it's just, some people are just so alpha and so just out of their damn minds. They're psychotic.
Well, that I ruined your night. I didn't properly prepare you. I apologize for that.
That's the worst story I've ever heard. I don't see many, because you know how I feel about burning. And it's just, I think that I don't hear many stories where someone's burned alive. I mean, that's something. She
just seemed like so sweet. And
yeah.
I hope her dad's making it through the day. I don't want to say like, I hope he's great, because I'm sure that he's not. And that's like wishful thinking. But I hope that he can get up every day and like be proud of who Ashley was.
Yeah, we're to create a legacy. And it's all about how you paint it in your mind. And I can't imagine it's easy, but you do have to remember the good things and remember why she was on this earth and remember the good times that you had. And that's the memory that should live on.
Yeah. And with that being said, I know her family did push for changes to be made in her name. So we can link, there was a change.org petition. I believe it's closed now, but we can still link it if anyone's interested in just taking a look. For sure.
Absolutely.
Had a lot to talk to you about for tonight, but I kind of feel like I put you through the ringer.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to talk about something happy.
Wise. I was serenading you guys last night in the car. Do you want me to sing a little something?
Please don't sing. I heard you sing, and we almost had you convinced. So, guys, we had a little team building exercise last night, and you maybe have seen it on socials. We're a little over a week ahead at this point, but so we're a little behind the breaking news portion of the evening. So we went to Benihana. We went to Dave & Buster's for just a little. We still had Christmas gifts for the girls. We hadn't been able to get together with Pam and Sue and Tedra and poor Shannon. She lives in Georgia, so we had to ship her gifts.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got the girls, so we got a cool MU candle, which really just came from Marshall's, and we ripped the sticker off and slapped an MU one on. And I put the same ingredients, like bergamot, and I wrote it on our sticker too. So I basically recreated the sticker, but with our brand.
And I cut it and laminated it like a damn champ.
Yeah, they look good. They look good. And then we also got them these personalized notebooks. But no, we had a really good time. And I think the funniest part of the evening to me was trying to split a bill between 5 people when one of them has cash and the others have no clue how to work the little machine they give you to split up a check.
And I didn't even have a card. I had a phone.
It was bad. It was bad. So it got to me. We were just passing the little, what do you even call those? A point of sale? Like the little handheld?
Yeah, the little handheld credit card thingy.
Yeah. So it came out to $88 a person. Pam starts it, then it goes to Tedra. Sue had cash, so we skipped over her. And then it got to me. And I'm like, okay, $88. So I type in 88 and I swipe my card. And all of a sudden it's like, balance due 0, tip $88. I'm going, I'm sorry, what? Like, as great of an experience as this was, I had no intention.
I was like, oh, you paid for my dinner? Thanks. I was ready to go,
like,
but
absolutely not. I'm like, Johnny unemployed ain't paying for shit right now. And so we had to get a manager out, and she probably took 4 trips to the back office to figure out how to cancel this thing. We checked out for 25 minutes waiting to figure out how to split up a bill. It was it's like, have I never been out to eat and split a bill? Like, I felt helpless.
This is why we only take you to McDonald's, because you can't handle
That's where I belong.
And then we went to Dave & Buster's, and that was super fun. We got some good pictures and some good videos, and we played Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Yeah, I got smoked. Tedra smoked me in hot shot basketball. I think there was a problem with the machine. It wasn't scoring properly on mine, I think.
Yours was broken, but maybe your points were going to Tedra.
That's what I'm thinking. They had the machines crosswired.
Probably what happened, obviously.
Right.
I'm
not
not standing up for you. Team Tedra all the way. If you want to hear any more about our fun time, you can email us at murderunscriptedpod@gmail.com.
Who would do that?
Who would what?
Hey, just emailing you to find out about your good time.
No, they would be like, hey, just emailing you to tell you I hate you and your show and you should play in traffic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And also, here's how you split a bill, you idiot.
On that note, we hope everyone has a wonderful night. We hope that you stay safe, stay hydrated, because I am not right now. And above all, remember that perverts don't wear signs that say they're perverts.
I got no jokes about that this week. This was an awful story, and these guys were the epitome of perverts.
This was a bad, bad week.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We'll catch you guys next week.